nothing, by the way.
You got nothing?
That's just like my brain is cooked.
Oh, yeah, I mean, fair. Well, we don't have to do a ton today. I'll just go ahead and do the intro real quick. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the TGS Weekly Stream. This is TGS Games, where we make our flagship TTRPG game, Vault Peddlers. You can get the initial release of our playtest rules for GMs and players out now on DriveThruRPG and Twitch. It's a completely free download. So please feel free to follow the link from TGS Games/downloads in order to get a free copy for yourself. And you can follow this stream to find all of the stuff that we are changing and completely throwing in the toilet, because the current iteration is fine, but it's not great. And we want to make it great. So, to get everybody up to speed, over the last couple of weeks, we've been going over some comments and changes that we think need to be made to the game. The stuff that you're seeing here in bold are the sections that we've already kind of covered. Actually, I need to bold this bit on combat. Okay, cool. So the sections that you're seeing in bold that kind of move in from the last little bit here are things that we've already talked about in this. Things we've already talked about. And so now we need to go into some stuff that we haven't talked about.
Did you get my text?
Yeah, this was your text earlier. Hang on one sec.
It was like yesterday.
Yeah, I got it like first thing in the morning, and I was like, it is too early. It is. You sent this to me at 7:53 a.m., and I, for some reason, got it at 7:53 a.m.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. And this actually has to do with the caravan rating, which is kind of the last big thing we need to look at. There's definitely little stuff that we need to tweak. But this is actually a great intro in. So your message reads, "Yo, I think I know what to do with the caravan rating, kind of. It means splitting petty coins from money a bit, but changing the name of caravan rating to wealth rating and giving it an associated die type. The hustle roll you take at the beginning of a session is your wealth type, plus however many players are in the party, meaning everybody always starts with at least one. So the higher your wealth rating, the more petty coin you can start with per session. It kind of fulfills the idea of petty coin as petty cash. And now I'm trying to think of what else you could do with it, like anytime you leverage your crew's reputation, or maybe anytime you need to acquire something, or anytime you would hustle somebody to shake somebody down, etc., you would get to roll the wealth rating. I think there's something there." And I responded,
yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, I responded the next day with somebody doing Kronk's monologue from The Emperor's New Groove, with a weird filter where their eyes are in their nostrils, so their mouth looks super big. Yeah.
And it puts a little nose underneath, too.
It put a little nose, very important, the little nose. But yeah, so this is a A.
I didn't know how to interpret that.
Yeah, it's a A. This is a brief and unsettling depiction of the kind of interaction that Corey and I have on a day-to-day basis. But B, it's a really great introduction to talking about Caravan, because to go over stuff before, Caravans sucked in our current game. They are just not fun. Nobody wanted to use the caravan. It just feels discouraging. We have here, it feels stapled on. It's like a hat on a hat. And so, this is a great opportunity to talk about the caravan system.
I think that the nose reel was a good an opportunity. It's not about character.
You're cutting out just a little bit. Can you say that again?
I think that the newsreel is a good way to begin talking about this.
I
If we can
think
get that
so.
on screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think I don't know, like anytime you're like trying to like get cash off somebody, you could definitely use it. So here's what I'm like. I don't know if this would fall into the trap that we had with splitting up the resources in the same way.
Yeah.
In the same way that we had with movement and combat, is like if we had a joint roll and everyone gets to split up the petty coin, you just split up evenly or whatever.
Yeah.
With like the couple extra, say if you roll it not an even split, somebody gets a little bit extra. Or if it should be like individualized and like you all have the same wealth rating, but you roll you just roll that die and that's how many you start with. And anytime like a couple things to consider. If we were to like individualize it, everyone rolls the die, like you get to that point where we're going to have to balance what you can do with it quite a bit. Cause like if you're at a D12 and you get 12 fucking petty coin, that could be a lot, right? And any time that you're like doing that could be a lot.
Yeah.
If we have it split between players, I think that we'll have to worry about that less, like even at 12, right? Like it will give you the impetus to want to increase it, especially if you have to use it a lot, or can use it a lot. It does like profound things. So that's the way I'm leaning, but it is something that like I have my reservations about just because of how the movement works in combat.
Yeah.
Splitting resources between the party makes me worried still.
So I really like the idea that you have here. The thing that I really enjoy about it is the idea, what you said about it fulfilling the idea of petty coin as petty cash, right? Because that was the whole basis of the name in the first place. I really like the idea that the party is getting a daily allotment of petty coin to spend. What I don't necessarily like with it is the idea of rolling for it. But I really like the idea of it being a thing that you get replenished every day, based on, the caravan rating itself. So like an example being, I don't know, a level 1 caravan, gets, 15 petty coin or something like that. Yeah. And then end of the day, if you don't spend all of that petty coin, okay, well, that's fine. At the beginning of the next day, you're going to have 15 petty coin total. I think that that's a really nice, clean system that fulfills the idea of petty coin. It removes the obstacle of rolling. And it also removes that obstacle of like, what if we're rolling a D12 and we end up getting a 12 instead of a 1?
In defense of rolling for it here, we talk about using petty coin, like making petty coin a more robust meta currency, and making it something that players want to use more. And I agree that rolling a 1 on that fucking sucks. But if we are going to prioritize the caravan system as like wanting to increase that rating, using that that wealth rating to do other things, like anytime you're making a deal with somebody, now you roll that rating die. So like, okay, I hustled this dude. What's your rating? Well, it's a D4, so I'm just going to roll a D4 and add however many players to it, or just roll the D4.
So
the adding however many players were in it is to mitigate the idea that rolling low totally blows, because you're at least going to start with everybody with 1 petty coin.
Yeah. Okay, so can you? I do need you to explain something here, and this is it's a 2-word phrase that has come up in I think the last 3 or 4 streams. Can you explain to me what is a hustle roll? Because you brought it up initially as a joke, but then it has stuck now to the point where I need to address it. What is this that you're talking about?
So my idea is like one thing that we've talked about is being bad people. And one thing that we have found in the game is that people like scheming and like undercutting people and like going over on deals and like working on shit like that. So like anytime you're doing something where you could like conceivably make money off of somebody, instead of like having it go into this nebulous wealth thing where like we didn't really have it, like you could only get petty coin, right? And like you couldn't buy, we talked about like you couldn't buy a beer. It was only dealing with like large scale pieces of wealth, that kind of thing. Instead, it's just like anytime you like you do something where you would get money from somebody or you're trying to acquire somebody, you would just roll like this hustle rating, which is just your wealth die. Is basically what the idea is I'm working on. And so to be however many petty coin you got.
Okay, so I need clarification here. So when I'm doing a hustle roll, the hustle rating that I have affects the die type, or it affects the die pool?
It would just be the die type. You're just rolling that like whatever your caravan rating is.
Okay.
So if your caravan rating's a D4, you roll a D4, etc.
Okay. So that everybody, I'm guessing, would start with a D12 and then they would work their way up in the hustle rating, and like a D4 is like the best.
So let's just remove the word hustle rating and talk about just caravan rating, the wealth die that we were talking about at the beginning of this. So, same deal.
Right.
So anytime you'd like do anything with money where you're conceivably getting money off of somebody, whether it be a deal, whether it be a contract, whether it be the beginning of the session, you just roll that wealth die. So in this case, how it is built, you'd want more, right? Because the more petty coin you have, the better.
Okay. No. Now I'm additionally confused. So in every other die that I roll, I want to roll low. We talked about like 1s, 2s, and 3s, but on the wealth die, then I want to roll high.
I mean, because it just accumulates. So yeah, it's however many you get, because you're not rolling to like scale against something, right? Like I'm not rolling 1s and 2s is worth this many. It's just straight up. When you roll your wealth die, that's however many petty coin you get.
Yeah. Okay. So that's that would be something at like the beginning of a session, correct?
Beginning of the session, and then like broadly, I was thinking you could make this a more robust thing. We were talking about the caravan rating not having much weight. It doesn't like do much. So like you can take that wealth die, your caravan rating. And anytime that you're like making a deal with somebody, anytime you're conceivably doing something with money, where you're trying to get money, you would roll your wealth rating. And the idea is that you're like leveraging your caravan against things. So like the higher your caravan rating, the higher you built this up, the more petty coin you can get, because you're dealing with better people. You are better at negotiating. You're just better at getting money.
Okay, so, but in that situation where I am trying to hustle someone,
sure.
It says this is where I get confused here, because if it's not just something where I'm rolling to see how many petty coin I get for the day, if I'm now interacting with somebody, then this hustle roll now is something that exists completely outside of the core mechanics that we've made, correct?
So what I'm saying is, like, if you succeed on doing something where you get money, in order to determine how much money you get, you just roll that die. So you've done the core mechanic of the game, right? Like you did an intimidation on this dude to shake him down for money. You figured out your die pool. You rolled your die pool. You got 2 successes, so you succeed. How much money do you get from him? Very easy. You take the caravan rating and roll it. You get to petty coin.
Okay. So this is an additional role that we are adding on to money-based roles, which determines the result of a success or a failure. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That would also be
just to determine how much you get. It doesn't determine pass or fail, just reward.
Well, not whether it determines pass or fail, but if I fail and they take money from me, does it also determine how much money they get from me?
I mean, I would, if we were to do it that way, I would say that you'd probably want to, just like in the same way that we have built NPC cards with like their ratings and things, you would probably want to throw a die on them. I don't know if it would be fun to have that, just because in game design, I think taking things away from players feels bad. Okay. But like, I mean, you could just like have them be hostile instead and still have like the consequence, right? Like they wouldn't necessarily need to take a meta currency from you.
Sure, they don't need to take a resource, but they might like, alert the local guards or, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Which would be solved by like our CATS sheet already.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So now that I actually understand the system, I mostly like it. The only thing I'm kind of hung up on that just feels weird and incongruous with the rest of the system is that with everything else, you're aiming low, right? Like all my other rolls start with a D12. If I am able to bump it up to, a D10 or a D8 or whatever, I mean, that's like better. That's an ideal thing. When I'm actually rolling, I'm trying to get like 1s and 2s and 3s. 1s are the best. Those explode. All of that is uniform and in line, except for this thing with the caravan system, where it just feels like now it's a different system again that we're kind of pairing up. And here's the thing. That's not inherent.
Like a robot right now?
I'm sorry?
I lost all of that. You sounded like a robot through it. I couldn't hear any of that.
Okay, yeah, we're having some kind of bad connection going on here because I've been having kind of a similar problem with your audio for the whole call.
Try something real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe it's on my phone. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
All right, hopefully this solves it.
Okay, cool. So do I need to repeat what I just said, or did you get it?
Yeah, I missed
okay.
all of it.
So what I was saying is that in every bit of the system that we currently have, you are rolling low. I start on like a D12, and like if I'm really good at a skill, or if I have, a province feat or whatever it is, I maybe go up to like a D10 or a D8. But in all those cases, going lower is better. And when I'm actually rolling, I'm aiming low. I want 1s, 2s, and 3s. 1s are notably the best because those explode. And it all has this very uniform feel to it until I get to this caravan system where it's totally turned around. And now I want to roll high. The highest die type is the best. Here's the thing. We've talked about how we have a need for two kinds of complexity in our mechanics, right? This idea of multiple systems, and as long as those multiple systems are simple enough, then that's fine. There is nonetheless, maybe I'm clinging on to old, systems here, but it just feels weird having a separate system for caravan that runs the polar opposite of all of our core mechanics.
I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm of the camp that like having another, like a dual layer of complexity on top of this. Again, we say complexity, but these are inherently pretty easy to understand systems. I think that having that layer there is going to be good. When I look at games and I look at a PBTA game, one thing, and maybe this is like I don't know. We play a bunch of trad games. I like trad games. The idea of only having the 2d6 mechanic is kind of boring to me. So that's definitely where I fall. I fall in the camp of having this other system, even if it does run metric, which I understand what you're saying, because the confusion it could have if this was moving a lot.
Yeah.
But I think if we have the caravan rating not moving like a ton, it's sort of like as your group levels up, or if you lose some sort of ability or whatever, if you go down in the ratings, I think it's just like you have that like wealth die. You either have like a bar with all the die on top and you circle which one you have at the time, or you just have, and this might be cleaner on a character sheet, just like the box, and you write in what it is. So you're not even looking at the other die. It's just like, I know that we are a D8 caravan, and whenever I'm rolling for money, we're only rolling that D8 until the archivist tells me to change it. Yeah. I totally get what you're saying. I'm just of the camp that I think it would be good for us to have more.
Have I completely lost you?
Oh no, I'm there.
Okay.
I completely lost you.
Your audio completely cut out there for a second. Tell you what, folks, I'm going to take us to the waiting room really quick. We're going to tweak our connection here just a little bit, and we'll be right back with you. Thanks. I'll just bring us back on. Okay, we are back, folks. Thank you so much for hanging on for us. We tested our internet speed, and both of us have very fast internet. We got them fat pipes. So I don't know what's going on here. Okay, going back to our original conversation here. I don't disagree. I think that at the very least, it merits a couple of play tests just to see if it works or not.
it gives us an opportunity to like lean into like one thing that came up in the playtest that Adam was in was like them trying to double cross people and them trying to make these subsidiary deals. And there was a lot of scheming going on, which like leans into this idea we've had of bad people, which is like if we provide that wealth rating where you can get more meta currency and it's just like a slot machine, kind of cool, right?
Yeah. All right. So, I don't know if you are looking at
I'm watching
Vault Peddlers 1E, but is this kind of the basic idea of the wealth rating?
Yeah. Wealth rating would start at my idea was that you do like your starting one with plus however many players you have in the game. We can talk about that.
Okay. So plus number of players. No, I absolutely think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it needs to be applied after that, but like, it definitely for the first one you roll, right? Like, so everybody gets at least one.
Okay.
I don't know. I think there's if we find that this works, like there might be ways to move this into like acquiring gear and shit too. Like, the idea of like your wealth die being like this thing that you're leveraging as your crew. To make things available. I don't know. That's like my brain started working in there, and I was like, I don't know what that would look like, but I think that there's a way to use that die to like do more robust things. So that was a thought.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that being said, I like the wealth rating system. At least I like it in theory more than I like our current caravan rating system, which is just it means nothing. So I think that is a really cool way to do that. I also like kind of on a related note, because we had originally had it where the caravan rating correlated to the level of contracts that you were able to get. Hey, Elstragoon, thank you so much for stopping by.
What up?
But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, the I felt like the caravan rating, how it related to the quality of contracts that your caravan was eligible for. I just felt like that ended up being way more quantitative than it should be. I feel like contracts should just be evaluated on like a qualitative basis and not so much like a, hey, you're a 3-star caravan, so you only get a 3-star contract. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, looking on it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this makes sense because it's like, you know how to get money out of people because you're good at it. Like, that's just what you do.
And it's applicable during every session. Which I think is an important metric. Our old caravan system, very much like something in the background that like affected things. The intent was to affect it on like a much larger macro scale, but in reality, it barely affected anything at all. So yeah, I like that idea. The other thing that I will propose.
Propose.
And this is if we decide to keep this idea of the caravan as a vehicle. I kind of like the idea of caravan stats are just bonuses to the dice pool that you already have.
You brought this up last session. I totally agree. Like, if we end up keeping vehicles robustly, then I think that's just the way to do it.
I also really like the idea, and this is a new thought that I had earlier this week, is we've wanted to find ways to encourage people to do these like group actions. Maybe the caravan stats also apply when it's all of your party members working together. and you don't need to be in the vehicle to do it. Does that, I mean, I don't know if that tracks or not, but that was another idea that I had.
Yeah, I think that that's a way to approach it. We should definitely write it down. I just had an idea. Well, what if items were just worth die? Like straight up.
Hang on to that for 1 sec. Party is in their vehicle. Party is acting.
Party in your vehicle.
And acting as one. What were you saying?
What if items were just worth dice, right?
Okay.
Like that's it. That's how you do it. Like we have a vehicle. Okay, great. The vehicle's worth 3 dice. Whenever you're doing something with that vehicle, you just add it 3 dice, just like you're saying, to whatever you're doing. Instead of having to come up with robust stats for anything, we just put a dice evaluation on them, and that's it. Bob's your uncle.
It's very elegant. Yeah, so what's the trade-off there, right? Like, obviously it's way more simple. It's way easier to manage. It's something that is applicable and something that Bob's uncle is so elegant. It's something that would come up in every session, right? It's like down to earth and very like in your face. The trade-off is it's not as incremental. It definitely takes away the whole gear porn idea away from this game, which, for the record, I'm not saying that's inherently a bad thing.
Yeah.
In all of our games so far, gear porn has really never been the forefront of any of the play tests that we've had. And maybe that has to do with the people that we've been playtesting with.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, I enjoy a game with like a lot of gear. Like Cyberpunk is super fun that way.
Yeah.
But well, I don't know. I haven't felt it as much here.
Well, I wonder if like we can have a cake and eat a cake and eat. That's the saying.
Did you have any plans for the game, or just like, is this what we're doing tonight?
Yeah, we're gonna each get a cake and deadeye each other and eat it over video.
Love that idea so much. Like, not even a joke. That sounds incredible.
There was I'm very funny, and there was a point.
I guess you are.
I was gonna say I think I was drinking a lot at the time, but I definitely was. But I made a post on Instagram when I was like deep into some cake buying at like Hannaford's, and I had taken a picture of each time I bought a cake, and I was like, this is a series of photos of cakes that are important to me. It's like me with my hand outside of a bunch of cakes.
Incredible.
I do wonder if there's a way to maintain the attitude of that gear system and make it a bit more modular, and just like keep the tag system, which like roughly seemed cool, or the idea of the tag system. Maybe we don't need to have it as robust, or maybe not as defined, or whatever. But like, if you can use those tags, like buy those tags with meta currency and just use them, then like we can stack these like idea of like you can like hustle the fuck out of people and try to roll that wealth die a lot, because you're going to be using this meta currency to like buy a tag on each attack because you want to do something rad with it. And then we can just have gear be worth dice. We don't have to define them, and we have that list of like modular tags that you could spend meta currency to be like, I'm gonna fucking hit this dude with my sword so hard it fucking explodes, or so hard it fucking like blinds everyone in the room. So that's an idea.
Okay. So many questions. All right. So first, let's go to your original idea here. So the idea of items as dice. You're just referring to, like, I have, I don't know, a spear gun on the vehicle, and that just is an additional like +1 to my die pool. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, on the vehicle, I think this could apply to like
Items
all
in general.
though. Yeah.
Okay. Hang on one sec. Let me bring this down to mechanics.
It's actually kind of similar to how we have items, sorta.
Don't actually have a section for equipment, so I'm just going to put that under mechanics.
Put it under quippies.
Quippies?
Yeah, quippies.
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 Okay, cool. So, items as additions to dice pool.
Thank you.
I.e., sword is +1 to... Yeah. Okay, cool. Trying to think now. Have we figured out what we're doing for damage in combat? Let me scroll down here really quick.
I believe we're just having the same kind of thing. You get hit and you take a node. Well, we're not using nodes anymore. We're just gonna have the bar. But
well, we're not doing.
Same idea.
We're not doing nodes, and we're also not doing shootouts either, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Players either roll a hit or they roll a defense, and then the NPCs aren't rolling shit.
Yeah.
I got scratched by a witch last night.
Was that the old hot dog that you ate?
I did eat an old hot dog. Maybe that is. Someone cast a spell on me. I'm very sick. I don't think it was a spell. You ate an old hot dog. I saw it.
Yeah, I think you just ate an old hot dog, my guy.
A wizard cursed me.
No, it was a wizard. It was definitely a wizard. He had a big hat.
I was bewitched in the night. Well, it could be. You've been eating rotten meat for the last week, so... And that is how the witch trials started. You're welcome.
Historically, that is very true. I have a master's degree in history, so I can comment on that.
Yeah, this guy ate an old hot dog, and
he ate a really bad hot dog, and he was like, "Oh, witch! I'm gonna kill these teenagers."
He didn't stop until the governor's wife was accused, and he was like, "Okay, hold on.
Wait a minute. This guy just ate a hot dog."
I think we can all agree now, with the benefit of...
Yeah, that story's super fucked up.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Anyways, what was I even going to say? So wait, so how is damage calculated here? Is it just like number of successes I get is the number of damage that somebody takes?
So that is how we had it going last time. If we shrink the amount of nodes, then I think it would just be one hit would be one, unless you're like paying extra petty coin to make it more damaging. Okay. If we keep the same amount, then yeah, I think successes is a good metric to do it.
Okay.
You did go down pretty fucking quick though. And we did have that big monster go down pretty. Our current system is pretty sink or swim as far as like damage goes, which hopefully this will mitigate without the like defense rolls and stuff. But I think that's something we're gonna have to roll out a little bit. Probably just you and me rolling some dice against each other and see how quickly. Yeah.
Number of hits on. Relevant rolls, because there is no armor.
There is no armor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're a clown last night.
Well, and actually, the weird thing is, if we go with this whole thing for the quippies, where like just items are in addition to dice pool, I feel like that actually is weirdly gonna track, right? Like if I have like a +3 thing, then I have the chance to inflict like a full wound on somebody with that weapon.
Yeah. I mean, we're getting away from the idea of wounds, right? Because now it's just like you have that bar.
Yeah, they are segmented. You do get like a +2 your own die pool the more you get injured. So I'm still thinking of it. We need maybe a different term for those sectioned out things.
Yeah, I think like in general too, most enemies are going to die with one hit anyways.
Most minions will. Once you get into like mid-tier bosses and higher level folks. Oh. Okay. Well, cool. Okay, so going back to caravan stats then. So bonuses to the die pool you already have. They apply either when the party's in the vehicle or when the party is acting as one. Here.
Yeah, my only reservation about this is I'm just not married to vehicles anymore.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
And I don't want to be in this situation where we're trying to force something when people just like, people are, stop trying to make vehicles happen. It's never going to happen kind of thing, right?
Yeah. No, we don't want a Zoe of Delphi it,
Mine was a Mean Girls reference, the original.
Sure it was. Okay, cool. So if that's... What's up?
It's just frustrating because I do like the idea of having vehicles, but...
I like the idea of having vehicles. I will say this whole process has really shown me that they are way more trouble than I expected. Like a ton more expected.
What if we change everything and your character is a car? Each character.
I love it. Welcome to Cars, the TTRPG. It gets super fucked up.
XXX. This one's X-rated. Just like Cars 2 was.
Yeah. You got that bootlegged one from Reddit?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think what else. So what else is even on? Hang on, let me get a caravan sheet here. Okay.
Oh, wait, quirk? Wow.
I don't think quirks really are even relevant.
Remove them.
Yeah, and I think that the whole idea of coffers and all that don't make sense either. I mean, that one is gonna affect like some lore stuff if we do decide to change that. I really don't hate the idea that it's kind of almost like a hotel room where like, it can even be like a van or whatever, but it's got like a little mini safe and that's got like your total amount in it. But maybe instead of like applying an amount to what's in the coffers, maybe it's more just like you get, what am I trying to say? Going on what you said before about like a wealth rating and like petty cash being divvied out. Maybe it's the kind of thing where if somebody takes that black box from your caravan, then like you don't get that wealth rating anymore. I'm worried that that's also really punitive and has the potential to be not fun.
Yeah, the thing I'm most like, it feels good to get things. Getting things taken away from you is like, I think one of those like fundamental crosses for a game.
Yeah.
Like removing something that was previously given doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Like if your monk can climb walls, and then I'm like, yeah, but not anymore. He can't. Like, well, that sucks.
Right.
I think that we need to fundamentally answer the question when we are talking about like the caravan. Like, do we want a location, a safe house, a Do we want a physical representation of where the crew goes, or do we want, or are we talking about the crew as like an amorphous thing, like wherever you go, there you are, right? I think that that's an important question we need to answer, because whether it's a vehicle, a safe house, a black box, whatever we want to call it, if it's a physical thing, then we need to realize that we are going to have to stat that thing. If it is like your crew as an amorphous ability, then like we need to figure out how it mechanizes into the characters. So that's I think a deep question we need to soul search about.
Hearing you put it in such concrete terms like that, I'm actually on the boat that I don't think I want vehicles in this game anymore. Or like, I don't want it to be like a central part in this game.
Okay.
I like the idea that, I mean, one of the things that we talked about in this game, and I know this is like a theme in a lot of TTRPGs, but like the idea of found family is something that like we have talked about a ton here. And in a found family, like, I don't know, it's not about the car, right? It's about like the people in it. And that's where you get that strength from. That's where you get that power from. Granted, I am probably much more powerful if I run you over in my car.
but we have a way to deal with that now, right? Like we can be like, vehicles are worth like this range of die.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Like if you steal a vehicle, and like we could also add like, you know, because this is like old tech, things like that, things degrade. We can easily like get rid, like we can have stuff like that be temporary or scene based stuff, right? Like as long as we're not making it a part of the character sheet and then taking it away from people, but rather making it an item that you can use that like naturally degrades, I think that that's fine. Like as long as we're upfront about those things. But like we do have a way to do vehicles in a pretty easy way that I feel can stick to the run and gun stuff we're shooting for. Like you just add this many die, and we're still doing like what we were talking about, like vehicles with just adding die to your shit.
Yeah. No, I think that that's great, in all honesty. And I think that we can still use wealth rating to create a system where like we encourage group actions. Like the whole thing about like the party acting as one, that actually came across in several playtests. Like, and that maybe is something that we should encourage. So maybe Caravan, I don't want to say Caravan stats anymore, but like, I'm actually just going to put it as a third bullet under wealth rating. Yeah.
Hustle roll. Write it.
Hustle. Hey, stop. Hustle roll implies that it is a roll to hustle someone, which is not always the intent of a group action.
Yeah. Agree to disagree.
Hang on one sec.
But I do wonder if you could, like, we were talking about like schemes and things like that. I wonder if there is a way of like, we want a scheme to do this thing, and like, okay, me as the archivist say you need to get so many successes to do that. Roll your wealth rating, and this is how much you'll get out of it if you succeed on this in like this many rolls or whatever. That could be a way to mechanize that.
Well, so what if we actually had dual uses for that beginning of a session roll? Okay. So at the beginning of a session, every player rolls their wealth rating +1, and this determines both how much petty coin they have for the day, and it also determines how much extra gets added to their die pool when they make a group action.
So this is, I think, where we need to decide whether it's going to be each individual's rolling their petty coin, or we as a group are rolling it and just splitting that amount. because if we do it as a group, then we can do a lot more of those rolls and be a lot less worried about stuffing people's like over providing petty coin and breaking the game, right? If the meta currency does profound things. If we split it, where like everyone, we make one roll, then it divides. Then I think we can encourage a lot more of those rolls, because we won't be just stuffing people's pants with it per roll. Because say we do get a D12 and now we're a high level group and we're each rolling a D12, that's going to be a lot of petty coin, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. It's going to be a ton. It's going to be a fucking ton.
But if we're splitting it between 4 people, that's manageable.
On the contrary, though, on a like low-level party rolling a D4 and splitting it between like 3 or 4 people, that also sucks.
But if we have that plus however many people are in the group, it kind of takes care of it, right? Like, because you're at least getting one.
You're at least getting one.
And possibly each getting 2.
Yeah.
And then like, if we're doing that, then it's like, well, fuck, let's do a lot of schemes, right? Let's try to work together a lot.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah, but to your credit, like it is also the thing that I was worried about, right? Like, is it going to feel weird, or do we just write it in the rules? Like, you should split this evenly. Like this, you make this roll and you should split this as evenly as possible. That is the intent.
What if
it is just a roll your own? Go on.
What if it doesn't get split? Wasn't our original intent of this game having a big pool of die sitting in the middle of the table that anyone can pull from? What if it's just what if we just say, hey, this is like, we still have like the number system you're talking about. It's 1d4 plus every player at the table, but it doesn't get split to anybody. It just sits in the center of the table.
So I mean, I would love that. My only reservation with that is that when we're splitting resources on the go, it is going to slow things down, right?
I suppose
unless you don't have to talk about it. We encode it in the rules. You can grab these sons of bitches whenever you want. Do not, and like write it in. Do not ask anyone to use them.
Do not ask.
You use them.
I kind of love that.
use the petty coin.
Well, no, because you know what? Because this is another conversation. You can't ask. I like that.
You can't.
I like that because this is another conversation we had like kind of early on. It was talking about like, as your crew gets more and more adept at like reading other people and like being familiar with kind of like the subtle, body language that like the people in your caravan have, you just act without thinking. I love the idea actually that a player cannot ask. They just take it or they don't.
Yeah, you can't talk about it over the table. You just have to use it or not.
Okay.
So joint meta currency.
Okay, so hang on, because I'm excited about the idea, but I want to make sure that it's not just excitement. How do we like? Let me put this in different terms. How do we feel about a mechanic that actively discourages table talk?
I don't know about that, because like table talk's natural at the table, right? Like it just happens, and like I don't want to bar beer and pretzel folks from that, because like I want to dick around and I want to like table talk and like maybe we do work together, but like why I think it works here is we're talking about like a split resource, and we found with this in movement it slowed the game down naturally, right?
Yes, it did, very much.
Yeah. So that would be my thing. That's what I would say.
I don't disagree with you that like it definitely makes sense that splitting it up before you start is going to streamline like whether or not the petty coin is used, right? I do think that forbidding players to ask and get group consensus before one of these things is used would achieve the same thing.
Yeah.
I worry though that it wouldn't be fun to be the player who doesn't end up using the thing and watching like your last bit of petty coin get used up by one of your other players. Like I feel like that's going to be fun in very specific circumstances, but I worry that it's going to be really not fun in a lot of others.
So I mean, I totally see that. Like, and that's why, like, my first response is like, then we split it. Like, you just split it as evenly as possible.
Okay.
I will say that, like, the idea that you can't talk about using it and this petty coin is going to disappear at the end of the session, no matter how much you make. Like, you're going to start at 0 again.
1000%.
Like, I think that kind of, I don't know. We can also offer optional, like, as an optional play style. You can either split it evenly, as evenly as possible, or you can put it in the center, and you can use it, but you cannot discuss that among the table.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the way to do it, but yeah, I think that does warrant playtest, because I think you're right. It does have the potential to not be fun.
Yeah. I like the idea of having just like a little flavor box that says like optional play style, the dice pool or something like that. But yeah, no, I think on further review, I think you're right. I think we need to split it up early on. Okay, so then it's every player rolls the wealth rating +1. So they're rolling a d4 +1. That's how much they're getting. Or is it just one person rolls a d4?
One person rolls for the table, right?
Okay,
That's what it would be. It's 1d4 +1, and then 1d6, or not +1, plus a,
right.
You know,
plus
however many dickheads you got in your group.
Okay, so one player rolls for the table. Adding
one player or the archivist, whoever.
I think it should be one of the players.
One of you stink goblins do this.
Yeah. Adding one petty coin for each player at the table. This determines how much petty coin they have for the day. It will... Is it per day or per session?
Per session.
Okay.
It's just a cleaner divide.
Yeah, fair. Okay, as well as how much... are we doing the thing where it also adds how much extra a group action adds? I think that it's actually very clean that way if we're doing it rolling as the group.
What do you mean?
So at the beginning of the session, we roll that d4, we get like a 3, and so that's added to like the group pool or whatever. And then in the middle of a session, the group decides they want to make like a group action. And we talked about the wealth rating adding to your total dice pool. So any actions they would make would have a +3 added to their dice pool.
Sure. I mean, I think that. Wait, hold on. When you're talking about like getting money off somebody, or are you talking about just doing any group action?
Any group action where all party members are involved.
You just add however many people are doing it.
Not however many people. It's all party members have to be involved in the group action. If you have a party of 4 and 2 people are working together, but the other 2 aren't, you don't get to add that in. It's only for when all party members are working together to achieve that same goal.
Then you add what to their die rating, or do you just add their die together? I'm sorry, I'm a little lost.
No, you're fine. So we take that example from before. The party rolls a d4 at the beginning of the session and they got a 3, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
And you add that number to however many to their die pool. I'm fine with that. I think that's fine.
Cool.
Yeah. That's a neat way to like use that roll across things.
Yeah, well, and it removes the need for like comprehensive caravan stats or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of in that one little number. Okay, 1 second here. So we're actually just gonna add that.
Are you saying too that like anytime you would need to do like get wealth off something, you're just going to use that first roll? You don't need to roll again?
No. I have a second bullet point here during a session, and there you would roll that same D4 to determine what the result money-wise would be for you.
What's the I guess for the beginning of the session applying to group roles, what is the narrative connection on why we get a +3 versus a +4 versus based on that first roll? Like, what's that narrative coupling that we're using?
So the narrative justification that I would have for it is this is just when you're with a group of people, sometimes you are super in sync with them and sometimes you're not. And sometimes you're just not. And so this initial roll just basically determines how in sync you are with the rest of the group.
It would have to be just the die type, not the plus that you're putting onto it, right?
What do you mean?
So if you're rolling like, say we're rolling a D8 and we rolled an 8, anytime we're all doing something together, we're adding 8 die to that?
Correct, yeah.
And then if there's 4 of us, we're actually adding 12 die to that?
Hang on, now I'm having to do a whole lot of math in my head.
I think that it works in the lower levels of the game.
You're right, though. When you get to the higher levels, that actually becomes a real big problem. If I have 4, so if I rolled an 8 as a D8 crew, everybody would add 8 die to their rolls. Yeah, you're right. That isn't gonna work. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I don't think it does.
I do like the idea of what you're saying, though. Like, I think narratively that's a good justification. Maybe we can find a way to bring that in, because I like the idea of like that vibe check.
Yeah. Wonder if there is a way to do that using this. Maybe. What if it is? Oh man. I'm trying to think of like.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like a way to maybe it's not like 8 extra die per person. Maybe it's 8 extra die per joint roll. Does that make sense?
Or like you just get 8 die that you can distribute throughout the game.
No. That's way too much upkeep and maintenance. I'm saying the joint action occurs. Every player makes their roll using their stats on their character sheet, totally normal. And then like one player or the archivist rolls however many dice that you rolled at the beginning of the game. So if I rolled 3, the archivist rolls 3 dice behind the screen or whatever, and then adds those successes to now.
Man, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's just a lot. Okay.
I feel like we're trying to force it. Here's what I would say. let's not like. I think the conceptual idea is good. Let's marinate on it and like see if we can like gin up something in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
because I do like that, and it does fulfill that thing we were talking about. Like sometimes you just vibe, and I think it like kind of it couples into the idea of like what we were talking about with the character sheet. Like I'm feeling smashy, I'm feeling quick, yeah. So
yeah. Okay, cool. That being said, that is a functioning system for Caravan, which is basically to say we completely got rid of it. We, I don't think we kept a single thing.
I had thought about, so I was thinking about something too, as far as like classes went, because I was trying to think of a way to make what I was saying work without doing an enormous amount of work. Mm-hmm. Last session when I was talking about, I gotta open up the drive, hold on.
Yeah.
I follow along on Twitch just like everyone else because I don't know if you knew this about me, I'm kind of one of the people. I'm a little bit, you know.
Okay.
I'm of the people. I don't like to sit above people, Taylor. Get tapping away. Oh my god, I just turned into Donald Trump, huh?
I was about to say, I'm going to quit this entire project. Go on.
I forgot what I was saying when I was like conceptually roasting you doing work.
Honestly, it's what I would expect from any good leftist. Good for you. I'm proud of you, buddy.
So I was talking before about how like we roll on this table. I'm feeling sneaky, talky, thinky, smashy. And we had the +1 and then an ability related to or like a special ability kind of thing. Yeah. And like I was thinking of a way like, man, it would be nice to like make that work where there was like a variable special ability that you could pull if you're feeling sneaky, talky, thinky, smashy. If we wanted to go that route, we could keep provinces as they are and create like a couple of options for each sneaky, talky, thinky, smashy of like different neat things you could do. And when you roll that, you can like just, you know, when you build your character, you just pick one for each of those. And then when you roll whatever, when you're feeling smashy because of that, I can do this thing.
Yeah.
My
only concern with that really more has to do with space on the character sheet. If you're gonna have these feats attached to them, you're not gonna have them every session. It's something that you like pick between every session. So if we're gonna attach them to feats, I mean, like the +1s to various skills, that's super easy. It's super simple to do. You can put that on a character sheet really easily. If you're gonna have feats attached, I don't know what your solution for that is.
I would endeavor to not make them changeable. I think it would be like you pick them during character creation. They are 1 or 2 sentences, and each one is stapled to this thing. So it always says that underneath sneaky, and then you just X out sneaky because today I'm feeling sneaky, and now I can do that one thing. It doesn't change.
It doesn't change.
It doesn't change. So it's whenever I'm feeling sneaky, I can do that thing.
Well, no, it's not whenever I'm feeling sneaky. It's that I'm always feeling sneaky, so I can always do this thing, right?
No, this would still be you'd roll, and like I would get the plus to obfuscation and the access to this ability.
Well, but I thought you said it doesn't change. Why would I roll?
It doesn't change off the character sheet. I don't swap it out for another, like, so let me talk visual layout. What I'm thinking with this,
Yeah.
like it would be like a bar on the top or on the side with sneaky, talky, thinky, smashy, all listed there. And we have a box above it, like a check mark to tell you which one you were currently on. And underneath it, it would have a +1 to whatever the attribute is: obfuscation, parlay, clockwork, ferocity.
Yeah.
So whenever I roll that 5 to 6, I'm thinky for that session, right? So I always get a +1 to my clockwork for that session whenever I'm doing something.
Right.
Similarly, right underneath the +1, it would have that ability. So whenever I'm thinky, I can do that ability too.
Oh, you're saying the feat doesn't change?
Yeah. The feat
oh, okay. Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
I'm not married to it. Just like I would like to have like kind of a special ability thing that's beyond just the numbers game.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, especially, having played a couple sessions of Pathfinder and all that, like feats are cool. Having special things that your character can do, I don't know. It gives the game like a unique feel to it. I will say
it also means a lot of work.
Yeah, I was gonna say it means that our book just went from like 40 pages to like 120 pages. And
that's why I would endeavor to keep it like if we kept provinces and did it that way, each province has only a couple options. And then,
for sure.
Creation. Yeah.
I'm thinking 3 or 4 for each of these to pick through.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Because also I will also add, if we go this route, we're also de-streamlining our character creation. No one is going to be able to make a character that quickly anymore. Because they're going to have to
evaluate the options.
Yeah, they're going to have to read through like mountains of feats in order to make that happen.
I mean, it wouldn't be mountains. It would be. I mean, if we're thinking that there are 4 provinces and 4 of these abilities tied to
16.
each one. Yeah, I mean, it's an amount.
Yeah.
I do wonder though. I do wonder if there was a way to like just couple those instead of you pick, like you get it through character creation, right? Like it does it.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, I know I've been like really big on automating the character sheet, so it does. I don't want to do it. I played this game. I played 2 games as the game master, and I was like, well, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, fair.
Maybe this can do it. Paper, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like a cat leaving a dead bird at your feet, and I'm like, can you do something with this?
Here, I got this for you. You can't give it back to me. It's for you.
You do something with this.
Okay, yeah. So I don't hate that idea. I'm gonna put a note in here. Every. Let's see. Oh, clarification question. Do they get the bonus or the feat, or do they get both? Because right now it's
my inclination is to say both.
Okay. I'm just gonna bold that for now. Okay.
Well, I'm a pervert.
Okay.
Think captain in the world of tomorrow.
4 feats players to choose from.
Hey, everyone on the stream, you may be wondering why I never type on this. And it's because I'm not allowed. Because
you are not.
I will ruin it and have on several
Dear
occasions.
sweet God. There was one time where Corey had gone in and he had added feats, and like he did it correctly. He had used like the appropriate headers, and there were bullet points, and like the appropriate text was italicized, and I could have fucking cried. I was so proud. And it's never happened again. Not a single time has it happened again.
I did a werewolf.
God, you set my expectations so high and then just
dab on them.
Peace, idiot.
Anyways, I deleted everything in there. What?
Speaking of which, I'm gonna do something really fun.
Oh, what are you getting rid of?
I'm getting rid of our caravan section. Ready for this?
Eat a dick, idiot.
Eat a
Wait,
dick,
hold on,
idiot.
I gotta get there.
Oh no! Hang on, wait.
Hold on.
Hang on. No,
Control Z.
Yeah, I control Z it. Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay. Fuck it up.
Ready? Here we go.
Boom.
Boom.
Get fucked. Get fucked. Where's wounds? Get rid of wounds.
Do we just want to blow up this whole thing?
Skills. We got all these skills we don't use, right?
Hang on 1 second here. Skills? Yeah.
I mean, we can at least get rid of this board. Yeah.
That's dumb.
Shootout. I'm looking at a shootout.
Oh, hang on. I'm actually gonna keep.
Get rid of combat.
Oh, no. Hang on. Wait. Go back to skills. For skills, are adaptation, holistics, clockwork, ferocity, are those being referred to as skills now?
I guess so, right?
Yeah. So we need the actual section in the outline, so I can't get rid of that. But yeah, let's have a look at this combat deal. My God, all of this probably needs to go.
Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
I can't stop thinking about that. I can't stop thinking about that clip from I Think You Should Leave.
Oh, okay, yeah. Thought you were being serious, and I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it needs to go, man. I think this whole section needs to go.
I can't. I'm gonna just promote I Think You Should Leave. They don't pay us or anything. I just like it. Okay. I just enjoy it. I like how much Tim Robinson yells.
Getting rid of conditions. Oh, I'm gonna get rid of vehicle combat and joint actions. This is gonna feel good.
Adam would be so mad at us.
Why?
He gets mad at us. He gets mad at us when we delete all our shit.
Why? They don't work.
He's not a pervert like we are.
Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. I'll go in.
We like destroying.
I'm going to go into the version history. I'll put a bookmark in the earlier version.
And write a bad game.
Yeah.
Dumb bad game.
Name this version. It is the bad game. Cool. There. And now I don't need to worry about it. If I want something back, I can go get it. Okay.
Let's fleece some idiot.
Let's see. Approaches and what they mean. I don't even think we're going to need a table in this.
Should I get pizza?
Yeah, you should.
Thinking about it. Like, that would rule.
Yeah. I would love pizza tonight.
Cool.
Unfortunately, we have, like, there was some kind of a mishap at the Home Chef factory, and we got, like, 2 times the amount of meals we normally get. So now I'm obligated to, like, eat nutritious home-cooked meals every night, and it's garbage. I want pizza.
Text Leslie and be like, text your partner and be like, Benny threw away all the food. With a sad face.
Why did Benny do that?
Benny threw away all the food. She's a bad dog. Anyways, I had to buy wings.
Yeah. Anyways, I went to Automatic Pizza. Then I went to Zaxby's. And there is a fast food smorgasbord at home waiting for you.
Don't be mad at me. There's Zaxby's, which is a fucking cool tagline Zaxby's can pay me to use.
Yeah, Zaxby's, in all seriousness, I have put so much money into your Atlanta Highway branch. You should absolutely sponsor this show. Like, yeah. I'm not even kidding. You really should. Like, I've
never had it.
Goddamn, so good.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. It's fried chicken, Taylor. I'm not going to have a bad time.
No. No, dog. Like when you come down here, like it's almost embarrassing because like Athens is such a foodie city. It has so much good food in here, but I'm absolutely taking you to fucking Zaxby's. I'm 1,000% taking you to a fast food because it's so goddamn good.
We went to Hardee's and Zaxby's.
Yeah. On the note of other fast food that's really fucking upped their game, some Southerners are gonna shoot me for this, but Crystals really fucking bumped their shit up. I don't know what happened during quarantine or whatever, but like they upgraded. They got like seasoned fries now, and like they've got these little chicken sliders that like, I don't know, man. Those things are fucking competitive. They're good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Also, I get to order it by the sackful, which is just such a powerful way of ordering food.
I mean, it's a depressing way of ordering food. I'll give you that. And I'm not saying
agree to disagree.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's like our conversation about Burger King. Burger King's there to help you fuck yourself up. Like, ordering anything by the sackful is inherently disgusting. I'm there for it, Taylor. I'm willing to do it. But you know it's gross, right?
The spirit is willing, but the body is spongy and weak.
I'm going to get a sack of cheesecake to go. I'm sorry, what did you just say to me? I think that there's like a bit of artifice in New England that we can't let ourselves do that kind of thing. First off, we're not willing to have a good time.
Fair, yeah. Understandable.
Yes, yeah. I think you'd vibe with the cynicism here.
I was gonna say I actually really get it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, everyone's unhappy, but we like when we like it.
Yeah, you're gonna be unhappy, but you're gonna be happy about it.
You're gonna drink this whiskey out of your Dunkin' Donuts cup that also still has Dunkin' Donuts in it. It's insane. I wish I could.
It's wild too because you are surrounded by like some of the prettiest countryside in the whole of the country. I mean, I guess it's because you have such brutal winters up there, but like, I don't know, man. Why are y'all so fucking depressed?
I mean, it's not depression. It's
cynicism.
You're not allowed to have a good. Yeah, you're not allowed to have a good time.
Yeah.
It's this like pure. I mean, honestly, it's like this old school puritanical shit that has just bred its way into everything.
Yeah, fair.
And it's But
I was about to say
we don't have dry counties.
Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah. Well, so I was gonna see. It's like the South is like a weird thing because it's like super religious, but in like a very superficial way. Like we talk about that kind of stuff all the time, and I'm sure people down here actually believe it. Like I don't think it's like a that explicit or anything like that. But it's very much like a separate spheres kind of thing. Like we enjoy ourselves in the South despite being very religious and in the same religious tradition as as people in the Northeast.
Yeah, we're just like all like, oh, what kind of religion are you? I don't know. I guess some of the Catholics and Protestants, I guess. Although there's a fair share of Baptists up here now.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, Southern Baptists spread all over the United States, though.
Well, I guess that's true. Yeah, it's that evangelical bit to it. Y'all got snake handlers up there?
Up here, where I am?
Yeah.
I mean, we have drunk dipshits who will touch a snake.
Not quite the same. Not quite the same, although I am suspicious that there is a similar amount of alcohol involved.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, I think you would really vibe with how much we don't talk to people.
If there is one thing I am known for loving, it's not talking with anyone. It's a
nightmare how much people in the South talk to, like, me.
Oh, my dude. Yeah, no. Like, I've lived here for 23, 24 years now, and, like...
Yeah.
I'm finally at the point where if somebody is like... I wave at everybody now, and it sucks because, like, I wave at people. I'm generally a pretty, like, happy appearing person, and so the combination of those two things means that people stop and talk to me all the fucking time, and it's like, no, dog, you don't understand. I did not want this. I'm just brainwashed into being polite, like... I've been Pavloved into, like, waving my hand at you or whatever, but otherwise I do not want to talk to you.
Well, and it's your power to talk and be friendly as a Southerner. Actually, I would say it disarms and upsets New Englanders, because I'm supposed to be polite, so I won't stop you, but I do want to stop you.
But oh my god, I wish you would stop.
You've broken the thin veneer that holds, like, the world together,
right,
by looking across the street and walking across a parking lot. My conversation with you is supposed to be
right. You broke the social contract, and you've got me over here feeling like I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I absolutely get it.
Well, and that's where we use people from Boston as weapons. They are our cudgel.
People from Boston don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they will fucking... They're mean.
Yeah, man, they've got their own term, like a masshole. I didn't realize that was like a term until a couple of weeks ago, but like...
Yeah, they don't know about it either.
Nobody tell them.
They think we're friends. I honestly had to legitimately had to break the news to somebody before. They're like, oh, I thought we were cool. No, we are 100% not cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what pizza to order. Help me. Hey, chat, help me order a pizza.
Yeah, else. What's your pizza order? I
think he left.
I know for me, I can't ever pick on, like, really anything. So I almost always be a coward, and I usually go with, like, a Supreme. That's like my general pizza order if I'm sharing it with folks. If it's just for me, I fucking love a Hawaiian pizza. it's phenomenal. I know this is apparently a controversial opinion, which I don't think it actually is. I think people have just been conditioned to say that the whole pineapple on pizza is controversial. I don't think it is.
It's not the pineapple that's the problem. It's the ham.
The ham?
Bacon and pineapple? Phenomenal pizza. Pepperoni and pineapple? Are you fucking kidding me? I will fuck that bitch up. A ham and pineapple pizza? What? What's happening on this pizza? Who spilled leftovers here? Like, get this out of here.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I never actually thought about ham as being the weird contender on that. But yeah, honestly, between the two of those things, I would absolutely rather have pineapple than ham. Ham just feels weird on a pizza.
Well, it's the single weirdest one-topping pizza I think you can order out of the like normal toppings would be ham, right?
I want a pineapple pizza, but I want a Hawaiian pizza, but hold the pineapple. I think that you would. I think they would be scared of you if you ordered.
Well, here's the thing. You even joking about it had to joke about it in a way to contextualize it into a place of normalcy by saying that it was a Hawaiian pizza, hold the pineapple, because you rightly felt weird about saying I'll have a ham pizza.
Oh, Jesus. Well, cool. I just learned something today, so that's neat.
Order that for your partner for
no, I think here's the thing. If I told Leslie, like, hey, listen, like, we're out of food, Benny ate it all, whatever. I got us a pizza. I think that she'd be like, oh, well, like, that sucks. I definitely want to find out what happened to all 5 of our home chefs, but I'm excited about the prospect of pizza. And I'm like, yeah, no, totally. Me too. I got us a ham pizza.
Yeah, I wouldn't even pitch it. Just see the reaction on her face
when she opens the box.
Hot pizza, just the way you like it. I did not.
This is so. It's so weird how upsetting this concept is to me, because a Hawaiian pizza is like a staple. Every fucking pizza place has like a Hawaiian pizza option. And I've never once considered that ham is a weird topping to put on a pizza.
I'm actually glad that you're on board with this, because I've pitched this to people before and they've shot me down like I'm the fucking lunatic.
No.
No, you're insane.
Oh, ham is okay? Okay, cool. Here's a pizza with deli sliced turkey on it. Like, how do you feel about that? Are you excited about your deli pizza?
It's like ham gets to hang out on pizza by way of other things.
Right.
It was invited to the party because they didn't know what to pair it with, pineapple with, until they were like, oh, actually bacon and pepperoni's way better.
Ham?
It gets to the meat lovers, not because it belongs there, but just because all the other meat is here, so you can come.
Well, no, it's there because they need some way to, like, push off all of this ham that they had to order.
Right.
They have, like, this surplus of ham, and only so many people, like, order Hawaiian pizzas. But, like, Hawaiian and meat lovers, those are 2 pretty popular combos. We can shove some ham off on this thing. So, yeah, absolutely. No, you're 1,000% correct. Ham is the younger sibling that the older sibling had to let come with them to the movies because mom said.
Yeah. Yep. I'm fucking really glad you're on board with this because
1,000%.
Because it pisses me off that people try to defend it.
Ham has had it too good for too long.
Yeah, like, don't defend it.
And I think with that, I think that we have jumped the shark on stream. So I'm actually going to cut it.
I'm not done.
I'm gonna cut it here. If you did tune in and you've been enjoying yourself, consider giving the stream a follow. It helps the channel out a ton. You can get all of our free playtesting rules and character sheets on either DriveThruRPG or Twitch, which you can find at the downloads page of tgsgames.com. If you want to give our social medias a follow, neither of them are super active right now, but we are on Instagram and Twitter, and I think Twitch, TikTok.
I think we're definitely on Twitch.
I think we're on Twitch. I'm not sure. What is this? Okay, it's some bot thing. Okay, anyways, what's up?
I said, oh, cool, we're famous.
Yeah, we made it. Okay, cool. So that being said, we'll be back same time next week. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. And yeah, stay safe and call your nearest pizza place and tell them about why ham is an abomination. That's it.
Yeah,
all right. See you guys later. Bye.
I'm ordering
1,000% order that pizza.
Bye.